What if everything you believed about the world was a lie? What if there were hidden forces at play, manipulating the very fabric of your reality, and only a few select people knew the truth? You're about to discover secrets that were once considered too dangerous for the public eye. These are the secrets that powerful elites worked tirelessly to keep buried, secrets so potent that they were officially banned, locked away from humanity's reach. But now the truth is out, and you're holding it in your hands. Inside these pages, you'll uncover forbidden knowledge about dark powers that govern not just your mind, but the universe itself. These aren't just ideas or concepts. They are ancient truths about the very essence of creation and destruction, and they possess the potential to change everything you thought you knew about the world. But with great power comes great responsibility. The knowledge within this book is not to be taken lightly. Once unlocked, it cannot be undone, and your life will never be the same. You may begin to see the world through different eyes, questioning every belief, every institution, and every social construct you've ever been taught. You will understand the forces that shape your destiny, and the truth behind them may shock you to your core. In a world where the masses are kept in the dark, you now hold the key to unraveling the deepest mysteries of existence. But tread carefully. This power is not for the faint of heart. As you read, remember, knowledge is a tool, but how you wield it will define your fate. Use it wisely, for once the veil is lifted, there's no turning back. If you're done living under illusions and ready to wield the forbidden force they never wanted you to touch, drop "I'm ready" in the comments. Let the world know you've claimed your shadow throne. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, and join the first 20,000 minds breaking the seal on power that was never meant to be polite, quiet, or controlled. Chapter 1. How the World is Rigged Without You Knowing. Most people wake up each day thinking they have full control over their lives. They believe they're making their own choices, forming their own opinions, following a path they've chosen. But that's the biggest illusion of all. The world you were born into is not neutral. It was already arranged long before you took your first breath. Like a massive theater production, everything was set. The roles, the stage, even the lighting. And you were dropped into it without being asked who you wanted to be. From your name to the language you speak, from the way time is measured to the very meaning of success, none of it came from you. You just accepted it because it was already there when you arrived. And here's the catch. While it looks like you're free to do what you want, there are invisible boundaries all around you. These boundaries don't have fences or warning signs. They live in quiet agreements everyone follows without ever noticing. You learn them as a child, not through explanation, but through reward and punishment. When you follow the path that's expected, you're praised. When you act out of instinct or question the setup, you're corrected, shamed, or ignored. Over time, this changes you. You stop trusting your inner signals because they seem to get you in trouble. You start replacing your natural response with what's acceptable. This isn't a mistake. It's part of how the system keeps itself running. No one had to sit you down and teach you not to question things. You absorbed it. You watched how people who challenged the script were treated, how they were laughed at, punished, or left out. You noticed how people who smiled at the right moments, agreed with the right opinions, and followed the correct steps were celebrated. Over time, this pattern shaped your behavior more than you realize. You adjusted not just what you say, but what you feel. You started to feel guilty for wanting things that didn't fit the approved mold. You started to believe there was something wrong with you whenever you stepped outside the narrow lane they carved for normal. There are rules here, and the most dangerous ones are the ones no one admits exist. These aren't laws written in books. These are unspoken rules that press on your mind and behavior. They tell you which ideas are too weird to say out loud. They tell you how much freedom is too much. They whisper, you can try, but only this far. And just like that, you build a life inside a box, thinking it's the whole world. But every so often, something strange happens. You see something that doesn't fit, a glitch, a moment, a deep inner nudge that says, "This isn't right." You might notice someone breaking all the rules and still winning. You might notice that some things repeat in your life like a script you didn't write. You might catch yourself acting out a pattern you don't remember choosing. These are cracks in the wall, tiny breaks in the illusion, but your mind was trained not to look too closely. You were taught to shrug off your own inner signals. It's just a coincidence, they say. Don't overthink it. And just like that, you return to sleep, even while awake. The system doesn't need you to agree with it. It only needs you to keep living inside it without questioning the shape of the cage. It doesn't matter if you think you're free, as long as you keep acting in ways that keep the structure alive. And the most powerful way to do that? Plant fear where your freedom should be. The fear isn't always loud. It's not always panic or terror. Sometimes it's soft. It shows up as hesitation. As that little voice that says, "Maybe this is a bad idea," just as you start to move toward something bold. It lives in the need to be liked, in the fear of disappointing others, in the worry of looking foolish. It lives in your habits, the ones you don't even think about anymore. Fear keeps you playing small, not because you're weak, but because the system is strong, and it's been working on you since before you could speak. That quiet fear isn't natural. It was built. Repetition, shame, reward, pressure, and the pressure of being watched. These are the tools used to shrink you. Every time you had a strange idea and were told to stop dreaming, the system tightened its grip. Every time you felt something magical but were told it wasn't real, another piece of the real you went underground. You didn't give up your power. It was shaped, molded, and redirected until it became invisible to even you. This world wants you to be predictable. Predictability is safe, not for you, but for those who designed the stage. When you follow the pattern, you don't cause trouble. You buy what you're told to buy. You believe what you're told to believe. You react how they want you to react. Predictable people are easier to manage, and in a world like this, being manageable is seen as a good thing, but deep down, you've felt it. The strange pull, the invisible weight that doesn't match what you've been told. You've sensed that some part of this setup doesn't add up. You've felt the tension between what you know deep inside and what the world tells you is real. That tension is not your imagination. It's a signal, a clue. It's the part of you that's still awake, even if the rest of the world is sleepwalking through a play they didn't write. And here's the wild part. You never truly agreed to play this role. You just grew into it, piece by piece. A script written by others was handed to you, and you followed it because that's what everyone else was doing. But now that you see the edges, now that you feel the pressure of the walls, you start to realize something important. The world was built to keep you distracted from your own depth, to keep you chasing approval, to keep you walking in circles, thinking they're straight lines. And all of this, all the false praise, silent punishments, and invisible limits, was designed so you wouldn't notice your own strength. The moment you do, everything changes. Not by force, not by noise, but because the illusion only works as long as you believe it's real. Chapter 2. The Lie Behind Free Will. The idea that you have free will is one of the most pervasive and dangerous illusions you've ever been sold. From the moment you were born, the idea of making independent choices was ingrained into your mind. But in truth, most of your thoughts were fed to you. The concepts you hold as your own were carefully introduced, shaped, and reinforced until they became part of your identity. Your preferences, beliefs, and even your desires weren't formed in the vacuum of your own mind. They were placed there by forces you weren't taught to recognize. Over time, you've come to believe that these ideas were yours because they've felt natural. They've always been with you, guiding you, shaping your actions. But in reality, they were placed there, often without your knowledge, to keep you on a predetermined path. Consider how easily thoughts and opinions from others enter your mind. It could be a suggestion from a parent, a friend, or even a passing comment from a stranger that plants a seed. As these thoughts are repeated by society, by the media, or by people you trust, they grow in strength, eventually becoming your own beliefs. You might assume that these beliefs come from deep within you, but if you stop and think about it, you'll realize they were planted. You've accepted them without question because it's easier to follow what others say than to go against the tide. Your mind was never truly given the space to explore the full range of possibilities. Instead, it was narrowed, shaped, and constrained by ideas that didn't originate from you. This is not by accident, it's by design. You've been led to believe in the illusion of choice, but your choices were already influenced long before you even had a chance to decide for yourself. What about your emotions? How often do you feel a certain way without fully understanding why? How often do your emotional responses seem out of proportion to the situation, or how quickly do you find yourself influenced by the emotions of those around you? It's not just that you feel emotions, it's that many of them are not entirely yours. Your emotions were intentionally manipulated to guide your decisions, to steer your actions in specific directions. From fear of rejection to the desire for approval, from jealousy to ambition, these emotions were nudged into your consciousness at a young age to ensure that you would behave in a way that fit into the system. They are the invisible strings pulling at your actions, steering you like a marionette. These emotional responses are not inherently bad or unnatural, but when they are used as tools of control, they prevent you from seeing the true range of your emotional experience. You've been made to feel things that keep you in line with the system's expectations. The desires that arise from these emotions aren't truly yours. They've been carefully constructed to make you move in a certain direction, one that serves the hidden forces pulling the strings. The truth is, you've been trained, from childhood onward, to choose safety over truth. This isn't something you were explicitly taught, but it's something you absorbed from the world around you. You learned that saying the right things, fitting into social norms, and making the safe choice were ways to ensure acceptance, love, and security. You learned that speaking your mind or questioning the status quo could lead to rejection, ridicule, or even punishment. Safety is not the same as truth. In fact, safety often keeps you from discovering the truth about yourself and the world around you. You were taught to choose comfort and certainty, even if it meant ignoring deeper truths that could shake up everything you knew. This training was so deep that it became second nature. You became conditioned to play it safe, to keep your head down, to avoid rocking the boat. But the truth is, safety doesn't lead to personal growth. It doesn't lead to freedom. It leads to a life of quiet obedience, where you follow paths that others have laid out for you, not because they're right, but because they are comfortable. In the process, you lose sight of your own potential, and you lose the ability to ask questions that might set you free. Even your dreams aren't safe from manipulation. While you sleep, you might think that your subconscious is free to roam, untethered and unrestricted, but that isn't always the case. Just as your waking thoughts and emotions are influenced by outside forces, so too are your dreams. The images, the symbols, the feelings that arise in your dreams often serve to reinforce the same beliefs and fears that keep you trapped in the waking world. You may dream of failure, of judgment, of being controlled, all reinforcing the same themes you experience during the day. These dreams don't come from some universal source of wisdom. They come from the same place as the thoughts and emotions that you carry with you. From outside influences, from patterns of fear, from the world that wants to keep you small. Even the powerful, intuitive feelings that arise in dreams are filtered through the same lenses that limit your ability to break free. In this way, your dreams become another tool of control, gently steering you back into the fold, reminding you of the limitations you've been taught to accept. And what about the true power you've been avoiding all this time? It doesn't feel right, does it? It feels wrong, uncomfortable, even dangerous. That's because real power is not what you've been taught to believe it is. Power, in its true form, is not about control over others, not about dominance or force. True power is quiet, subtle, and deeply transformative, but it's also disruptive. It disrupts the system. It disrupts the beliefs, the structures, and the assumptions you've lived by your entire life. That's why it feels wrong when you first encounter it. The system was designed to reject power like this. You were conditioned to see power as something that is used against others, not as something that can empower you to live outside the boundaries of what's been set for you. When you begin to access real power, you may feel fear, resistance, and doubt. But that's not because you're incapable of handling it. It's because the system has taught you to reject it. It's taught you that power belongs to a select few, not to everyone. It's taught you that real power is dangerous, unpredictable, and uncontrollable. And so, when you feel it rising within you, it's as if a warning bell goes off inside your mind, telling you that something's wrong. But that feeling of discomfort, that resistance, is not a sign of danger. It's a sign that you're tapping into something that has been hidden from you for a reason. It's the true power that has been kept from you your entire life, and it's waiting for you to claim it. Chapter 3. Why you don't remember who you really are. Your true past, the one that holds the key to who you really are, has been deliberately wiped from your memory. The fragments of your existence that were once rich with power, wisdom, and purpose have been erased, and in their place you are left with a sense of emptiness. This emptiness is not a void, nor is it something to be feared. It is a clue, a subtle reminder that something significant is missing from your conscious awareness. It's the feeling that there is more to you than what you have been led to believe, more to your story than what you've been taught to accept. This sensation of longing for something that you cannot quite name is your true self, the version of you that was buried deep, trying to make its way back into your consciousness. False memories have been implanted to replace what was once yours. These memories may seem completely natural, like the experiences and events you've always known, but they're not authentic. They were carefully crafted to keep you from realizing your true power and potential. These false memories serve as a barrier between you and the profound knowledge of who you really are. The life you think you've lived, the experiences you recall, are often the product of manipulation constructed to make you believe in a version of yourself that is far less than the truth. They anchor you in a narrative that keeps you small, unaware, and disconnected from your innate power. When you look back on your life, you might feel disconnected from certain events, almost as if they happened to someone else. This disconnection is a sign that these memories don't belong to the real you. They were put in place to make sure you never come close to discovering your true potential. Many of the fears that have shaped your life were not born from your own experiences, but were intentionally created to keep you from accessing hidden knowledge. These fears are not your own. They were placed within you, often at an early age, to steer you away from paths that could lead to enlightenment and self-discovery. They are not simply natural reactions to life's challenges. They are tools of control, ensuring that you remain distracted, discouraged, and disconnected from the knowledge that would empower you. These fears are designed to keep you from looking within, to stop you from questioning the illusions that have been built around your existence. They ensure that you never truly seek out what lies beyond the boundaries of your current understanding. These fears whisper to you, convincing you that the unknown is dangerous, that you are unworthy of uncovering the deeper layers of yourself. But the truth is, these fears were never yours to begin with. They were placed there to keep you in the dark, far away from the truth that could set you free. For much of your life, your inner voice, the one that knows the truth about who you are and what you're capable of, has been silenced. It has been drowned out by the noise of external influences, by the false memories, and by the fears that keep you locked in a limited perspective. For so long, you may have believed that your inner voice was never really there, or perhaps that it was something you had imagined. But that voice has always been there, waiting for the chance to break free, to speak the truth that has been kept hidden from you. It is not a foreign entity, nor is it something outside of yourself. Your inner voice is the reflection of your true essence, the part of you that has always known your potential and your power. However, this voice has been drowned out by the layers of programming that you've been subjected to, and over time, you've come to believe that it was never really yours. but the truth is, it was never allowed to be fully expressed. It has been suppressed, muted, and buried under years of conditioning. Yet, even now, it still remains within you, waiting for the moment when you are ready to listen, to remember, and to trust it once again. The feeling of something missing that you often experience is not a sign of something lost forever. It is the memory of your true self, trying to return to you. It's a deep unconscious knowing that you are not who you've been told you are. It's the part of you that recognizes the disconnect between the life you've lived and the life you were meant to live. This feeling is not a void. It is a signal, an internal compass pointing you towards something greater, something more authentic. It's a longing that you cannot fully name because it is a memory trying to resurface, a memory of the power, the knowledge, and the potential that you have yet to reclaim. The emptiness you feel is not permanent. It is a doorway, one that leads you back to the truth of your being. It is the reminder that the real you has always been there, just beneath the surface, waiting for you to remember. This something missing is the echo of a life you've forgotten, a life that has been hidden from you. It is the sign that your true self has not disappeared, but rather that you have been separated from it, kept away from your own essence by layers of falsehoods. The sense of absence is your soul's way of calling you back home, urging you to peel away the layers of distortion and reclaim the life that is rightfully yours. When you feel this absence, it is the universe's way of showing you that the truth is still within your reach. It is not lost. It has simply been obscured, buried beneath layers of manipulation, fear, and conditioning. You may have spent years searching for something outside of yourself to fill this emptiness, seeking fulfillment in external circumstances, relationships, or achievements. But the truth is, this feeling of missing is not something that can be fixed by outside forces. It is a memory, a knowing that only you can reconnect with. The real you is not something you need to acquire. It is something you need to remember. The journey back to yourself is not one of adding something new, but of reclaiming what was always there. The feeling of something missing is not a problem to solve, but a message to listen to. It is your inner self reaching out, whispering that it's time to remember who you really are. It's not a loss, it's an invitation. It's the opportunity to rediscover your true essence and the incredible power that has always been yours, waiting to return to you when you are ready to embrace it. Chapter 4. The Powers You Were Told. Never to touch you possess the ability to shift events around you with nothing more than focused intention, yet society has led you to believe that these occurrences are merely the result of luck or chance. The idea that you can alter the course of your life, or even influence the world around you, has been buried beneath layers of misunderstanding and doubt. When you experience what seems like a stroke of good fortune, you may attribute it to randomness, not realizing that the power to manifest those outcomes lies within you all along. This is not some rare, fleeting ability that only a few are blessed with. It is a natural part of being human. The power to change your circumstances, the power to bend reality to your will, exists within every person. It just requires the recognition of your own power and the ability to focus that energy with intention. When you begin to understand this principle, you realize that nothing is truly accidental. Everything, from the people you meet to the opportunities you encounter, is shaped by the energy you project, even if you don't consciously recognize it. This power is not a matter of luck, but of conscious creation. You were also born with the ability to influence others without ever uttering a word. This power is subtle, yet incredibly potent. From the moment you enter a room, your presence alone can affect the mood, the energy, and even the decisions of those around you. This ability is not limited to charm or persuasion. It is the power of your energy field. People respond to your vibrations, your intentions, and the unspoken force that radiates from you. You may not even realize it, but your mere presence can inspire, calm, excite, or even manipulate others. This nonverbal influence is not about controlling people against their will, Rather, it is about tapping into the unseen connections between all beings. Just as a magnet pulls certain objects toward it, your energy can attract or repel certain situations and people. This power has always been a part of you, but it's been downplayed and dismissed, often in favor of more tangible forms of communication. Yet the truth is, your energy speaks volumes, far louder than words ever could. You don't need to try to influence people. Your very presence does it for you. And when you learn to harness this ability, you can create profound shifts in your life and in the lives of others. Your energy doesn't stop at the human realm. You can affect nature itself, storms, plants, even the temperature of the air around you. The elements of the world are not separate from you. They are part of the same interconnected web of existence. You have the ability to influence the natural world, to communicate with it, and to alter it based on your intentions. However, this truth has been hidden from you for most of your life, not because it's dangerous or unnatural, but because it's an aspect of your power that has been deliberately suppressed. Imagine being able to affect the weather or cause a plant to grow faster with your focused thoughts. These abilities were once understood and practiced by those who knew how to tap into the deeper forces of nature. Yet over time, these practices were buried, dismissed, and forgotten. Nature is not a force outside of you. It is a reflection of the energy within you. The connection between your inner state and the world around you is far more profound than you've been led to believe. By recognizing this connection and learning to channel your energy, you can influence the world in ways that may seem impossible. What you may have considered coincidences or flukes in nature are, in fact, the result of your own subtle influence, whether you are aware of it or not. This is not just magical thinking. It is an untapped potential that resides within every individual. The power to break timelines and reroute your future is another ability that resides within you, yet has been kept from your awareness. You have the capacity to shift your destiny, to break free from the predetermined paths that have been set out for you. The idea that your future is fixed and unchangeable is a construct designed to keep you in line, to keep you from realizing the vastness of your potential. But in truth, the future is not set in stone. It is fluid and malleable. Your choices, your thoughts, and your actions have the ability to change the trajectory of your life, even in ways that might seem beyond your control. This power to rewrite your future comes when you are unblocked, when you are free from the limitations that have been imposed upon you. Much like an artist who can erase and redraw parts of their work, you have the ability to change the course of your life, to reroute your future at any given moment. However, to access this ability, you must first remove the mental and emotional blocks that keep you tethered to an outdated narrative. The future is not something that happens to you. It is something you create, one decision at a time. When you step into your true power, the idea of a fixed destiny will begin to dissolve, and you will see that the path ahead of you is full of infinite possibilities. The feeling of deep anger or intense desire that you sometimes experience is not something negative or destructive, as it may have been portrayed. These emotions are raw fuel, powerful energy waiting to be directed. Society often tells you to suppress these feelings, to calm down and act with restraint, but in truth, these intense emotions are some of the most potent sources of energy available to you. Anger, when channeled correctly, can become a force for transformation, breaking through obstacles and clearing the way for new opportunities. Similarly, desire is not something to be ashamed of. It is the spark that drives creation, the force that propels you forward. When you tap into these emotions and learn how to direct them, they become incredibly powerful tools. They are not inherently good or bad, they are simply energy, and it is how you direct that energy that determines the outcome. When you feel anger or desire, instead of suppressing or running from it, learn to harness it. Use it to fuel your actions, your goals, and your transformation. These emotions are not something to be feared. They are your allies, waiting to be acknowledged and put to use in creating the reality you desire. When you learn to work with these intense feelings, you begin to understand that they are not obstacles to your peace, but rather gateways to your personal power and creative potential. Chapter 5. The Trap. Hidden in everyday words and symbols. Every day, you encounter shapes, signs, and logos that are not just decorations or branding. They are carefully crafted tools designed to influence your feelings and behaviors. These symbols are embedded into the fabric of society with the intent to control how you perceive the world, often without your awareness. From the logo on your coffee cup to the signs on the streets, these symbols are subtly guiding your actions and emotions. They have been strategically created to evoke specific responses: comfort, trust, urgency, or even fear. The effect is so ingrained that you might not realize that these images are not neutral. They're designed to tap into your subconscious, triggering associations that steer you towards certain behaviors or beliefs. The logos you see, the billboards you pass, and the brands you encounter daily are more than just visual stimuli. They are energetic markers aimed at subtly shifting your perceptions of what is important and worthy of your attention. Over time, these symbols accumulate in your mind, shaping your thoughts, preferences, and even your choices without your conscious approval. When you begin to understand the true purpose behind these symbols, you can start to break free from their influence and reclaim your mental space. The words you speak carry immense power, even though you may not realize it. Certain words are used in everyday language to subtly strip you of your personal power, making you feel smaller, less capable, and more dependent. Words like try and should are not just innocent expressions. They are hidden traps that limit your potential. When you say, "I'll try," you are giving yourself an out, unconsciously allowing failure before you even begin. The word try suggests that the outcome is uncertain, almost as if success is optional. Instead of owning your ability to act, it introduces doubt and hesitation. Similarly, the word should is another subtle manipulator. When you use should, you place an external obligation on yourself as if there's some external authority telling you what you must do. It creates a sense of burden rather than empowerment. You may tell yourself that you should go to the gym, should eat healthier, should be more productive. But none of these words inspire true action. They only reinforce a sense of inadequacy and guilt. The more you use these words, the more you subtly program your mind to believe that you're not in control of your own decisions. To regain your personal power, it's essential to recognize these words for what they are, cognitive traps, and replace them with more empowering language. When you eliminate these terms from your vocabulary, you take back your power to define your own reality. Every time you speak, you cast a spell, whether you realize it or not. The words you speak are more than just sounds. They are energetic vibrations that send signals to the universe, your mind, and the people around you. When you say something out loud, especially without thinking, you are manifesting it into existence. If you express doubt or frustration, you are energetically aligning yourself with those feelings. This is why it's crucial to be mindful of your language, even in casual conversations. A simple remark like, "I can't," or "this always happens to me," becomes more than just a passing thought. It becomes a magnet for more of the same. The universe doesn't differentiate between joking or serious statements. When you say something, it's heard and felt by your subconscious, and the energy of those words is woven into your personal reality. It's not just your actions, but your words that shape your life. So, when you complain about a problem or express a negative outcome, you're reinforcing that situation in your life. These unconscious spells are often cast without intention, but the consequences are real. The trick is to replace disempowering language with words that affirm your strength, creativity, and capacity for change. By consciously choosing your words, you can shift the energy you bring into every situation and create a new narrative for yourself. Symbols and words are deeply interconnected, but symbols often have an even deeper impact. They are designed to be seen without being fully understood, to plant seeds in your subconscious without your awareness. The symbols you encounter in advertising, architecture, and even in public spaces are not just there for aesthetic purposes. They are strategically placed to influence your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. You see these symbols every day, and each one carries with it a hidden agenda. Some symbols are crafted to instill fear, some to trigger desire, and others to enforce compliance. For example, the use of certain shapes or colors can affect your mood without you even realizing it. Red might invoke urgency or excitement, while blue is often used to convey trust and calmness. These symbols work their way into your subconscious, shaping your perceptions of what's desirable or important. They are not there to inform, as they often claim to be, but to hypnotize. They speak directly to your subconscious mind, bypassing your logical thinking and planting ideas that influence how you feel and behave. This manipulation is so subtle that it becomes difficult to separate the symbols from your own thoughts. But once you become aware of their presence, you can begin to resist their influence. By becoming conscious of the symbols around you, you can start to see them for what they truly are and reclaim the space in your mind that they've taken over. The first step in breaking free from this trap of language and symbolism is to change the way you describe yourself and your life. The words you use to describe yourself hold a powerful key to unlocking your true potential. If you constantly use limiting language like "I'm not good enough" or "I can't do this," you are unknowingly reinforcing those beliefs. Similarly, if you allow symbols and signs to dictate how you see the world, you're giving away your personal sovereignty. The way you describe yourself and your life shapes your experience of reality. If you want to break free from the traps set by language and symbolism, you must begin by changing the narrative you tell yourself. Use empowering language that reflects your true potential, your capabilities, and your power. See yourself as the creator of your reality, not as someone at the mercy of external forces. Changing your inner dialogue is one of the most profound ways to shift your life. In the same way, being mindful of the symbols you engage with can help you begin to reclaim your mind. When you choose to focus on empowering symbols, whether they are personal to you or universally recognized, you begin to reshape your mental landscape. This is how you take back control, by changing the stories you tell yourself and the symbols you allow to influence you. By making these changes, you begin the process of untangling the web of control woven into the fabric of everyday life. Chapter 6. Why speaking the truth feels impossible. Speaking the truth has always been difficult for many, and this difficulty is not an accident. From an early age, you were taught to remain silent during crucial moments. In times when your voice could make a difference, you were conditioned to hold back, as if your words didn't carry the weight they truly deserved. Whether through direct or indirect messages, the notion that certain things should remain unsaid was ingrained in your mind. The very act of speaking, particularly when it comes to your personal truth, has been stifled over time. This silencing process has been subtle but effective. You were taught to be cautious, to second-guess your feelings, and to avoid rocking the boat. As a result, you began to internalize the idea that speaking openly, especially in moments that truly matter, might bring unwanted consequences. In essence, the act of holding back becomes a conditioned response, and speaking your truth becomes increasingly difficult, almost as though there is an invisible barrier preventing you from voicing what you know to be real. These moments, where the need to speak up is strongest, are the very times when silence becomes your default. Over time, this silence becomes a habit, ingrained so deeply that you may not even recognize how often you hold back from expressing what matters most to you. Every time you tried to speak your truth, something seemed to choke it back. It's as though there's an invisible force that steps in and stops your words before they even leave your mouth. It could be fear, doubt, or something even deeper, an internalized belief that your truth is not worth sharing, or that it won't be received in the way you intend. You may have experienced this in your personal life when an important thought or feeling was on the tip of your tongue, yet it stayed locked inside, unspoken. It's not that you didn't want to say it, it's that something, perhaps fear of judgment, rejection, or conflict prevented it from flowing out. This internal block becomes so familiar that it becomes automatic, almost instinctual. You have learned over time that certain truths are not worth expressing, that silence is safer, and that the consequences of speaking out are too great. In moments of clarity, when your words have the potential to shift something, that same force presses down on you, preventing the words from taking shape. The more you've tried to speak out, the stronger this force becomes. It's a learned response, one that has been cultivated by years of conditioning, and breaking free from it requires recognizing that it exists in the first place. The truth you carry inside of you becomes harder to voice as you grow older, and with each silenced moment, you lose a bit more of your natural ability to express what is real for you. Fear of being misunderstood is one of the most powerful forces that keep you silent. This fear doesn't just appear out of nowhere, it is planted early on, likely in childhood, where you were taught that speaking up could lead to misinterpretation or rejection. From the moment you begin to form your own opinions and beliefs, the fear of not being understood or accepted takes root. The pressure to conform and to avoid being seen as different starts to shape how you communicate. Over time, you begin to internalize the idea that your thoughts, feelings, and experiences might be too strange, too complex, or too out of line with what others expect of you. The result is that you become hesitant to express anything that might make you vulnerable, anything that might be misinterpreted or judged. As a child, you may have been reprimanded for expressing emotions or ideas that were seen as too intense or unorthodox. This early programming teaches you to hide parts of yourself, to trim down your truths so they are more digestible to others. The fear of misunderstanding grows stronger as you age, making it harder and harder to speak freely. When you feel misunderstood, you feel disconnected, and the pain of that disconnection is often so great that you prefer silence over the potential discomfort of being heard. The fear of being misunderstood becomes a self-perpetuating cycle, and it's difficult to break free from it unless you are willing to confront it head-on. Words have been stripped of their true meaning, and as a result, when you speak, you often don't truly connect with others or even with yourself. This disconnect is subtle, but it runs deep. Language, which was once a powerful tool for expressing thoughts, emotions, and desires, has been watered down, diluted, and distorted. Over time, words have lost their depth and their ability to convey the truth of your inner world. Instead of using language to connect, it has become a tool for maintaining surface-level communication, for keeping things light, for avoiding discomfort. When you speak, you may feel as though the words are empty or hollow. There's a sense that you're saying something, but that it lacks substance and that it doesn't truly express what you feel or mean. The real meaning behind your words has been hidden, obscured by years of conditioning and social norms. You may find that when you try to speak your truth, the words feel inadequate, as though they don't fully capture the depth of what you want to say. This disconnection from language is not just a personal experience. It's part of a larger pattern that has taken root in society. Words have been stripped of their power and their true purpose, connecting people with each other and with their innermost selves, has been diminished. The result is a society where communication is shallow and genuine connection is rare. When you speak, you often feel as though your words don't carry the weight they should, leaving you feeling frustrated and disconnected. Before truth can emerge, you will often feel resistance. This resistance is not accidental. It's a sign that the truth is on the verge of breaking through. It is the inner tension that arises right before you say something important, something that has the potential to change everything. This resistance manifests in many forms: nervousness, doubt, hesitation, or even physical discomfort. It can feel like a heavy weight in your chest or an invisible barrier preventing you from expressing what you know to be true. The closer you get to speaking your truth, the stronger the resistance feels, almost as though the universe itself is pushing back against your words. But this resistance is not a sign that you should stop. Rather, it is a sign that you are about to break through to something real. The resistance is the pushback from the part of you that has been conditioned to remain silent, the part of you that is afraid of the consequences of speaking out. But if you can overcome this resistance, if you can push past the discomfort, you will find that your truth flows more freely, and you begin to reclaim your ability to speak openly. The resistance is not something to fear, it is something to recognize, for it is in these moments of tension that the power of your truth is ready to be unleashed. It is a sign that you are on the right path, and that the words you are about to speak have the potential to create real change in your life. Chapter 7. The Hidden System That Drains You. There is a hidden system at play that operates just beneath the surface of your daily life. Every time you begin to rise in energy, to feel a surge of vitality, there is something that seems to pull you back down. It's as though the universe itself resists your growth, and this invisible force feels like a constant battle against your own upward momentum. It's not just a matter of occasional exhaustion. It's a pervasive force that makes it feel as though, for every step forward, you're being pulled 2 steps back. This system, though subtle, is designed to ensure that your energy remains low, that you are kept in a constant state of depletion. When you feel the pull of this force, you are experiencing the mechanism that keeps you tethered to a lower state of being. This force is not random. It is something engineered to maintain a level of stagnation, to keep you from accessing the full range of your potential. It's in the moments when you feel a burst of inspiration or vitality, only to find yourself soon feeling drained or exhausted. That energy, which should be yours to use and harness, is siphoned away, and you're left wondering why you can't seem to maintain the momentum you once had. This system operates largely unnoticed, a quiet, invisible force that prevents you from reaching the fullness of your power. The people around you, often without realizing it, play a part in this energetic drain. You may find that you are surrounded by individuals who seem to take more from you than they give, drawing on your energy without meaning to. These interactions don't always happen consciously. Sometimes it's in the form of emotional demands or energetic expectations that you unknowingly absorb. You may walk away from certain conversations or experiences feeling inexplicably drained, not because of anything you've done, but because someone else's energy has been pulled from you. It can be subtle, an offhand comment, a request for help, a deep emotional need. And in those moments, you might not realize that your energy is being siphoned away piece by piece. The act is not intentional. The people around you often don't mean to take from you, but they do so simply by existing in their own energetic states. Perhaps they are unaware of their own energetic depletion, and in their need to be understood or heard, they unknowingly draw upon your strength. It's not just that they are draining you, it's that you are offering your energy freely without understanding the toll it is taking on you. These interactions are a part of the hidden system that keeps you in a constant state of depletion, always giving, rarely receiving. This constant drain of energy has become so normalized in your life that you may no longer question it. Exhaustion has simply become a way of life, and you might even think that it's just the way things are. But exhaustion, in the way that you experience it, is not a natural state. It has been deliberately cultivated. This constant tiredness is not a sign that you're overworking or pushing too hard. It's the result of a system that is set up to deplete you. You are not supposed to feel perpetually drained, yet the reality for many people is just that. It's not just physical tiredness that is the issue, but a deep, pervasive exhaustion that goes beyond the body. It's mental, emotional, and spiritual exhaustion that lingers, making it difficult to feel fully alive. You may even start to believe that you are inherently weak or that your body is simply not strong enough to handle the demands of life. But this constant drain isn't a matter of your own limitations. It's part of a bigger system that has been built to keep you in a state of exhaustion. This systemic depletion makes it difficult to access your full potential, as it saps the energy needed for growth, creativity, and connection. Your exhaustion is not a sign that you need rest. It's a symptom of a deeper, hidden structure that pulls your energy from you in subtle, unnoticed ways. Spiritual growth, as paradoxical as it may seem, triggers the very fatigue that you seek to escape. As you begin to awaken, to tap into your own higher consciousness, this siphoning system kicks into overdrive. Spiritual growth requires energy, and as you begin to rise, the system works harder to keep you down. Every time you make progress in breaking free from the limitations of your current state, you will experience a wave of exhaustion. This is not because growth is inherently tiring, but because the system is fighting against your growth, trying to keep you locked in place. The more you expand, the more energy is required, and the more energy the system must siphon away. It's as if every step you take toward your own spiritual evolution triggers a defense mechanism within the system, and you are met with resistance in the form of fatigue. This is why spiritual practices can sometimes leave you feeling more tired than before you began, as though you are running a race with no finish line. The deeper you go into understanding who you are and what you are capable of, the more energy is needed, and the more energy is taken from you in an effort to keep you from fully embracing your power. The exhaustion you feel during spiritual growth is the result of your energy being pulled in multiple directions at once, your own inner power trying to rise while the system fights to keep you down. You've been taught, both overtly and covertly, that giving more than you receive is a noble act. From a young age, you were taught that self-sacrifice is virtuous, that giving of yourself to others is the highest form of nobility. While generosity is a beautiful thing, when it is rooted in a belief that you must always give more than you receive, it becomes a tool of control. This belief keeps you in a constant state of depletion, always pouring your energy into others without regard for what you are receiving in return. This system encourages you to give until you are empty, to serve without expectation of reciprocation. It teaches you that the needs of others are more important than your own, and that your worth is determined by how much you can give. But this kind of self-sacrifice is not truly noble. It is a form of control. The more you give without receiving, the more the system tightens its grip on you. It keeps you in a constant state of depletion so that you are never able to fully rise, never able to fully access your own power. True balance comes from mutual exchange, not one-sided sacrifice. The teaching that you must always give more than you receive is a lie designed to keep you trapped in a cycle of exhaustion, to ensure that you remain dependent on the system rather than reclaiming your own power. When you start to recognize this, you begin to see that giving and receiving must be in harmony. Only then can you break free from the system that drains you, reclaiming the energy that is rightfully yours. Chapter 8. Putting Yourself Back Together. The Forbidden Act. Throughout life, you have been taught to present one version of yourself while hiding the other. This split has become so ingrained that it feels normal, even necessary. There's a version of you that you show to the world, calm, controlled, and acceptable within the societal structures you've been placed in. This version may not be the real you, but it is the one that fits, the one that doesn't cause discomfort or make others question your place in the world. Then there is the hidden version of you, the one that holds the raw, unfiltered aspects of your being. This hidden side might carry your emotions, your desires, your true thoughts, and everything that does not fit into the box you've been placed in. Both of these versions, the one you show and the one you hide, are part of you, but they are not the whole picture. You have been fractured, broken into these separate versions, and each side holds a piece of who you truly are, yet neither represents the entirety of your being. This split creates an ongoing inner tension, one that prevents you from accessing your true power because the fullness of your potential lies in the merging of these parts into one unified whole. Real power only begins to return when you stop rejecting the parts of yourself that you've hidden away. These rejected pieces, the ones you've shoved into the shadows, are often the very aspects that hold the key to your true strength. But for a long time, these parts were deemed unacceptable. You were taught to fear them, to believe that they made you unworthy or weak. Perhaps it was an emotion that you were told was too much: anger, sadness, or passion. Or maybe it was a desire that felt too dark, a thought that didn't align with the image you've been taught to project. These aspects of yourself were buried in an attempt to conform, to fit into a society that demands you be something other than what you truly are. But in rejecting these parts of yourself, you also rejected the power that comes with embracing them. When you bring these hidden fragments back into the light, when you stop fighting against them, you begin to heal the split that has kept you from your full potential. You begin to reclaim the lost power that has been lying dormant, waiting for you to acknowledge it. The more you embrace these parts, the more you realize that they were never something to be feared. They were always a source of strength, waiting to be integrated into the whole of your being. Wholeness, once you begin to reclaim it, becomes dangerous to the systems that rely on your confusion. For those systems, whether they are societal, familial, or even internal, they thrive on keeping you fragmented. They want you to remain confused, unsure, and divided, because in this state, you are easier to control. A person who is unsure of who they are, who feels that they must hide parts of themselves, is a person who is constantly searching for external validation. In this search, they become vulnerable to manipulation. Systems that benefit from your confusion want to keep you in this fractured state, because a divided individual is much easier to steer. But when you begin to heal, when you start to integrate these lost parts of yourself, you become a force that cannot be easily swayed. Wholeness brings a clarity of purpose, a strength that is unshakable. It's not a loud, forceful power, but a calm, grounded strength that cannot be manipulated. The systems that once relied on your confusion will struggle to maintain their grip on you because you will no longer be their pawn. The fragmented pieces that once kept you under control will no longer be there to keep you in a state of uncertainty. You will stand firm in your wholeness, and that quiet strength will be the most powerful force in your life. Integration, as you begin to experience it, is not about loud declarations or dramatic changes. It is a subtle process, a gentle unfolding of your true self. The strength you begin to embody is not one that seeks attention or recognition. It is a power that simply exists, unwavering and steady. As you integrate the fractured parts of yourself, you will find that you no longer feel the need to prove anything to others. You will no longer be swayed by external opinions or expectations. Instead, you will find a deep sense of peace within yourself, because you will no longer be fighting against the parts of yourself that you once rejected. Your true power lies in this integration. It is the ability to stand firmly in your own truth without fear or shame. It's a quiet but unbreakable strength that no external force can shatter. This integration brings a calm confidence that others will sense, even if you don't announce it to the world. It is a peace that emanates from within, and it's impossible to break because it is rooted in the fullness of who you are. The final step in this process of reclamation is self-recognition. This is the moment when you see yourself not as the fractured, broken version that you've been taught to believe you are, but as the whole, complete being you were always meant to be. It's a recognition of yourself before the world's judgments and expectations molded you into something you were never meant to be. Self-recognition is not about seeing yourself through the lens of what you have done, what you have accomplished, or what others think of you. It is about seeing yourself as you were before all the layers were placed on top of you. It's about returning to the purity of your original being before you were told that parts of yourself were unacceptable, too much, or not enough. Self-recognition is the act of seeing yourself without the filters of external validation. When you can recognize your true self without distortion, you regain the power that was always yours. This power has been hidden behind the layers of conditioning, but it has never truly left you. It's been waiting for you to see it, to acknowledge it, to accept it as your own. When you can truly see yourself, not as others see you, but as you were before you were broken, you reclaim the full force of who you are. This is the final stage of your healing, the moment when you stop seeing yourself as a fractured being and begin to recognize yourself as whole. And in that recognition, you rediscover the power that has always been yours. Throughout this journey, you've uncovered powerful truths about yourself and the world around you. From the lost fragments of your past to the hidden power within your voice, you've learned how the systems, words, and fears have kept you from accessing your true potential. Each chapter has peeled back the layers of illusion, showing you the power you've always had to shift your reality, to integrate all parts of yourself, and to stand strong in your wholeness. Now, with this knowledge, you are ready to reclaim what's been taken, to heal the split within, and to move forward with clarity and strength. If this audiobook resonated with you, congratulations on completing this transformative journey. You now hold the keys to unlock your true power. If you like, it happens, your energy shifts, and you connect with more truths. If you share, it happens, you spread this power to others who are ready. If you subscribe, it happens, you stay connected, and more truths will continue to unfold. Don't wait. Like, share, and subscribe now to continue this path of transformation. Your journey to wholeness starts with you.